So while this was probably expected, and even I expected this to some extent, it's still a little bit disheartening to see that Sony, for some reason, is following in Microsoft's footsteps in putting their games on PC. Now, we don't know the exact amount of games or what type of games. It does look like they are still focusing heavily on creating the PlayStation 5 versions of games first. They have confirmed that Nixxes, who they picked up, is a studio that they're going to use to help port some games to PC and things like that, which, you know, a lot of people picked up on that when they initially launched. Myself personally, I thought, you know, they picked up a studio that could support, you know, maybe help create a new Uncharted, something along those lines. But, you know, a lot of people obviously knew that what this meant. Now, what is it going to mean long term? I don't really know. Like, I think that you definitely hurt your console's brand by having these games everywhere, and we can again look at the Xbox as a way of comparison. You know, EA back in, I believe it was 2016, leaked that there were about 31 million Xbox One sold, right, in 2016, and this was like right prior to the release and the decision to put every game on PC at the same time. Now, the funny thing about this is what we see is it's not exactly as cut and dry as what a lot of people have maybe expect. Like, we don't, obviously, the fact that they're going to use Nixxes to port games means that there's not going to be day and date stuff, so it's not going to interfere with the game itself or the PlayStation version. But I still think if you have a situation where, you know, everybody just knows in a few years the game's going to come elsewhere, that's less of a reason to actually pick up a PlayStation 5, and thusly actually hurts their brand. We're going to get into this as soon as possible. Let's get started. What's up, everybody? It's me, Crap Gaming, back with another video. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel. It means a lot to me, just to keep things going and just having fun and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, you know, make sure you guys do that. And I really do appreciate everything you guys do. So thank you guys so much. Anyway, so obviously Jim Ryan came out and made some announcements and stuff like that. And some of it obviously going to be a little bit more controversial than others. Now, for me personally, getting back to my story, 2016, EA leaked that there was 31 million Xbox Ones out in the world. This was directly prior to the announcement of Quantum Break and all future exclusives going day and date. So from 2013 to 2016, which is, you know, about 3 years, you know, probably a little less than 3 years because it launched in November of 2013. But basically, so the first 3 years of the life cycle, Xbox One was at, you know, 31 million consoles sold. From that point on, 2016 to 2020, basically you have a situation where they only sold an additional 10 million units in that amount of time. Now, there could be other reasons behind this, you know, obviously some lack of games and stuff like that, but again, where they officially ended off, according to AMD in March of 2020, where AMD said they shipped 150 million GPUs between the two, and Sony announced 109 million that same week, and that left 41 million just by math. Even if you want to bump that up to 45 million, still, you go from 31 million to 45 million. You know what I mean? 3 years you get 31 million, and in the next 4 years, you know, you basically get 14 million. Like, that's not a very good sign. And one of the biggest things is, you know, Xbox didn't have any exclusives and things like that. So that is very unfortunate when you see that happen. And again, I do think that a lot of people kind of really don't understand the ramifications. Yes, people, like, just like with anytime you bring up something that's woke or whatever, or, you know, hey there, why are these people doing this just to be politically correct or whatever, and people call you crybabies and try to like harass and make fun of you for that. Like, I never understood that. It's the same type of situation with this, right? Exclusives are what make these consoles worthwhile. Like, there's 3 different consoles to get. I own all 3. The main thing about it is they all offer, you know, something that the other one doesn't offer. And if you're putting all that on someplace else, then what good does it do? And to be quite frank with you, right? Like, here's the thing that I also kind of wanted to point out. Like, it doesn't, we've never lived in a world where PlayStation and Xbox had their exclusives available both on PC. Now, I can understand, like I don't think people understand the ramifications of this, right? Like, you would see people on PC buy a PlayStation just before those PlayStation exclusives. Now, the funny part about this is, there's never been a part where you could get these games on PC. So the fact that you're now going to be able to do that is, like I said, disheartening to some. And, now we have the details on exactly what's going on. I do think that it's just a really sad situation. So with this, Sony's looking forward to working with Nixxes to release more PlayStation titles on PC, according to Jim Ryan. Sony Interactive Entertainment is looking forward to work together with Dutch studio Nixxes to bring more PlayStation titles to PC, according to Jim Ryan. Speaking with Famitsu, the Sony CEO commented on the company's effort to bring more PlayStation games to PC, saying he's happy with their current efforts, although they're still in the early stages. The company is also looking forward to working with Nixxes to help them bring more titles to PC. Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO also commented on the current PlayStation 5 supply issues, saying that while they have achieved an unprecedented supply of products at launch, it's not enough for the current worldwide demand. The situation seems to be improving slightly, according to Jim Ryan, and they are working very hard to increase supplies together with their partners. Sony announced obviously the acquisition of Dutch developer studio Nixxes earlier the month. The studio worked on PC ports of various titles like the Tomb Raider games, Marvel's Avengers, Deus Ex, and much more. It's not surprising to hear straight from Jim Ryan's mouth that the studio will help port more games to PC. The latest PlayStation 4 game released to PC is Days Gone, developed by Sony Bend. And again, that really just depends on how you feel particularly about these types of games. For me personally, I think that it's a bad move, especially when I'm going to get the counterpoint, right? They're going to go, well, this is going to mean more games, more exclusives, and stuff like that. But again, I heard that years ago about Xbox as well, and it didn't lead to any more exclusives or anything else, right? It just led to less players to play against, more cheating with crossplay, and again, I know a lot of people don't understand this, but it does cut down on your console base, right? Like, look at this. It's true. PlayStation, as it stands, is like the only place where you can disable crossplay with PC, and because they have enough of a player base to go out and do that. I can't imagine a world where these games are going to be on PC with crossplay and the amount of cheating and things like that that's going to go on that people are going to have to deal with, just to make Sony an extra, couple $1 million, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really make sense to rock the boat like that, especially given really what was kind of out there to be able to do that. So obviously, this is a little bit of a bummer of a news for me. I'm kind of disappointed that they're going to go in the same direction of Xbox. I mean, obviously it's not day and date stuff, and they obviously know also that it is going to be a situation where if you're developing for your console and PC at the same time, it can elongate the actual production time, and it can also run into other issues where your game can suffer, because obviously the PlayStation 5 has this amazing solid state drive. So if you were to be, I think I'm more okay with this if it was like PS4 titles and older. But if you start talking PS5 titles, doesn't that take the solid state drive out of the equation? Right? Like, I mean, there's no way that Ratchet and Clank could have been done on a PC because there's no set hardware on PC, right? For the way that they do that, nobody would have been able to play it, because I'm sure that probably next to nobody has a solid state drive the equivalent of that. So yeah, it is a little bit disheartening to see that. And again, it's just one of those things where I guess like we're gonna have to learn to kind of roll with it, I guess. I don't know. Like, for me, I think that it is a little bit of a disappointment. As long as it's not day and date, I think I'm okay with some of it. But I just feel like with these companies, with corporations, which is why I say never trust these corporations. I just, it's just a situation where, for me personally, I just kind of go, well, you know what? It's best not to trust any of these leaders, and because they all just want money. Despite the fact that PlayStation is coming off like their best profits ever or whatever, we still see that, hey, guess what? That's not enough, because they want even more money, and then more money after that, and then more money after that. So I mean, it's always going to be something with these companies, and that's the way that they kind of do things. Like I said, it's just unfortunate to me. Like, why would you follow the last place company and do what they do? I mean, I get the idea that you're trying to grow what you're doing, but you also have to remember that you have a console fan base that you are out there trying to appease and trying to keep happy as well. So hopefully you guys understand that and understand where I'm coming from. Thanks for watching. Fact 'em up. Crapgamer out.